Hello, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, all. So, in the last part, we have completed up to step number 141. We have logged in uh, to our vCenter server using our permanent password. Now, let's move on to the next part. Now, before we start with the next part, let me give you an idea what we are actually doing. We are creating a new data center. Uh, that is a kind of an entity which we need to create in our vCenter server in order to add our ESX host in vCenter server as an central entity. So we will create one data center server, new data center entity, and then we will add our ESX host in our vCenter server. After addition, the ESX host in vCenter server, we will try to create our content library also, and we will upload our Windows 11 ISO OS ISO in that content library. And let's see, while creating all those steps, what are the errors are coming, how to resolve them, and everything. Okay, so let's move on to the next step. So next step is through vCenterServer main web console, click on actions, new data center. So I will go back to my DC system, and first of all, before doing this, we should be log into our VMware vCenter server. So this is the URL 192.168.1.25, and here launch vSphere client. I will accept this security parameter, and then we need to log in with administrator at vSphere.local. Okay, so I have logged in to my vCenter server, and now you can see this is a basic console. Over here we have not added our ESX hosts in this vCenter server. Okay, now remember one thing, if you have followed the earlier parts, we have installed our vCenter server as a nested VM in ESX host, but that is irrelevant now. Now we are adding our ESX host in our vCenter server in order to manage it centrally. Okay, so let's go back to our next step. So in this particular step, we need to click on actions and new data center. So let's go here. Here under the actions, there is an option called new data center. So I will click on that. Okay, let's move on. So next is provide appropriate name. So I'm just giving ESX Lab Data Center for new data center and click OK. Okay, you can give any appropriate name as per your choice, and I will say OK. So as you can see now, this particular new data center is created. Okay, so as of now it is showing host 0, virtual machine 0, because we have not added anything as of now. Okay, so let's move on to the next step. So next step is right click on the newly created data center and click add host. So now I'll right click and I will say add host. Next is enter the ESX host system's IP or FQDN, that is host name, and click next. So you can add anything as per your wish. I am adding FQDN, that will confirm our DNS connectivity also. So our FQDN goes like this. Okay, so ESX host 01 dot ESX lab, that is our DC dot local. Okay, and location will be this one. You can in an enterprise network you can add multiple data centers and then multiple hosts and then multiple VMs. Like that you can add as many as you want as per your version of your vSphere, that is standard, enterprise or enterprise plus. Those versions we have seen in the part 1. What are the differences? Okay, so let's say next. So next is it will ask us for the username and password to connect to this particular ESX host 01. So I will give the root username and password and next. Now click next. So it will give us some security error, the certificates security error. So we need to click on yes. And now you can see it is giving us the host summary. Okay, so the host FQDN is ESX host 01. Then vendor is VMware, model is VMware 20.1, version is whatever 8.0.3, and virtual machines, it is running one virtual machine, that is our VMware vCenterServer. Okay, so let's go back here. So we need to review the ESX host summary, so that we have already done. And I have put in a note over here. You can note down that our vCenterServer is running as a nested VM under ESX host 01. Okay, why I am repeating again and again this step of nested VM? Because we have created our vCenterServer as a nested VM under ESX host 01. I'm again telling you, lots of videos will tell you to install your vCenterServer as a separate VM, but that will give you a lot of errors. I'm not saying that those errors cannot be resolved or something, but I have wasted many hours, or I should say many days, but still those errors are not getting resolved anyhow. So I found this different way out to install our vCenterServer, okay, as a nested VM. So let's move on to the let's click on next over here. Let's move on to the next step. So as of now we will ignore our license warning because we are using it as an evaluation license. So what I'm doing is, as of now I'm putting it as an evaluation license only. In a production network, if you are having a particular license, you can add it later on. Okay, as of now our license will expire in 60 days, that is evaluation license, so that's fine. So I will say next. Next is it will ask you to specify your ESX host lockdown mode. So I will explain you what are those lockdown modes are there. So lockdown mode means once this host is accessed through your vCenterServer, you cannot access it through any other console like your SSH or something like that, right? So if I'm putting this normal mode, the host is accessible only through your local console of vCenterServer. If it is strict, then the host is accessible only through vCenterServer. The direct console UI service is stopped. And if it is disabled, that means you can access it from both, from vCenterServer also and from your normal console also. That is your direct console, VM console. So as of now, I'm putting it as a normal lockdown mode. I will say next. So next is select the VM location as default data center, ESX Lab Data Center, and click next. So VM location, select a location for this host virtual machine. So whichever virtual machines we will be creating in future, so that those will be stored in this particular data center. Okay, so this is fine, default setting. I will say next. So next step is on ready to complete screen. We need to verify our addition summary of ESX host 01 and click finish. Let's verify this summary. So name is ESX host 01.esxlab.local. This is FQDN. Location will be our ESX lab data center. Version will be 8.0.3. This is fine. License is evaluation license. Network our VM network default networks data store we have already created, so it's a default data store VMFS underscore DS. Lockdown mode is normal, that means our ESX host can be accessible only through our vCenter server, and VM location is our ESX lab data center. So this is fine. I will say finish. And now you can see this is getting added. It is showing red mark because it is currently in disconnected mode, but in a minute or two it will get connected. Okay, so let's move on to the next step. By the time it is connecting, so next step is once added, verify the ESX host summary. So now you can see that red mode or red uh, disconnection is gone. Now it is connected, and if I'm clicking on it, then let me maximize this. It will give me the host summary. Okay, so VMware ESX 8.03, and then whatever model, processor, logical processors, NICs, virtual machines. Why it is showing virtual machines? One, because our vCenter server is running as a virtual machine. State is connected and uptime is 0 second, but if I'm refreshing it, it will show me some uptime. Yes, so now 54 seconds. Okay, so now you can see over here, this is my host and this is my VM center vCenterServer. So if I'm clicking on it, it will give me the VM console of vCenterServer. If I'm clicking on it, this also, it will give me a full screen mode for my vCenter nested VM. Okay, try to understand how our lab setup is going. Okay, so this is how we have added our first ESX host. Okay, so what I'm doing is I'm coming back here and I'm going to this folder, and one more time I'm opening this lab setup just for your reference. uh, so we have installed our vCenterServer as a nested VM. Nested means it is been hosted on ESX host 01, and this ESX host 01 itself is a VM, type 2 VM, and this is our vCenterServer. So this is how we can access this vCenterServer through our ESX hosts servers web console also, and through vCenterServers itself and the web console we can access it as we have just seen. So don't get confused over here. Okay, so let's move on to our next step. Now next step is we need to repeat these steps 142 to 153 to add ESX host 02 in vCenterServer as well. Okay, so now I will go back to my screen and I will repeat the steps to add ESX host 02 also. So what I'm doing is I'm right click on this data center and I will say add host. Here I will put the ESX host 02's FQDN. So ESX host 02.esxlab.local. I will say next. Your username and password will be root and password. Next, certificate warning, yes. And now it has detected ESX host 02 host summary. I will say next. Then again the license is in evaluation mode, so that's fine. I will say next. The lockdown mode, we are putting it as a normal. I will say next. VM location, same data center, because it is a common data center for both the ESX hosts. I will say next. Ready to complete. I will say finish. Okay. Now you can see the ESX host 02 is also added. So again it will take 1 or 2 minutes. See, immediately it has been connected. Okay. If I'm clicking on it, ESX host 02, it will show me the summary of my ESX host. So now both the ESX hosts are added in our vCenterServer's data center. So this is how you can add your ESX host in vCenterServer. Okay. So our first step is completed. Now let's move on to the next step. Now we need to copy this Windows 11 Enterprise x64 OS ISO from our main machine to our DC locally first. Okay, why do we require it? We will see, but I will do one thing. I will come back here and I will copy my Windows 11 ISO. This is my main machine, so I am copying my Windows 11 ISO from this main machine to my DC system. That is my domain controller system. Okay. So I'll just copy it, this ISO. I'll paste it over here. Okay. Now from here, once this copy is finished, we will try to upload in our data center or our storage, the common data store storage from here. So it will take some time, as you can see over here. So I will pause this video. Once this copying is finished, I will come back to you with the next step. Okay, so we have copied our Windows 11 x64 Enterprise ISO locally on our Windows 2022 DC system. Okay, so let's go back to our next step. So next step is now we need to upload this ISO to our data store. Okay, so our storage data store. So we can go to our ESX host 01 also, 02 also, because it's a common data store for both of them, and click on data store. So I will go back here through our vCenterServer console. Okay, we need to click on our data center and then ESX host 02. And here, if that option is not showing, don't worry about it. Adjust this particular view. And you can see over here the data store option is here. So this is your ESX host 02 and click on data store. Okay, then it will show your VMFS data store. Now let's move on to the next step. So next step is click on your data store name and click on files and upload files. Okay, so come back here, click on our data store and there is an option called files. Okay, and now there is an option called upload files. Okay, now next is select your Windows 11 Enterprise x64 OS ISO and click open. Okay, so I will select this one now, double click on it, and now you can see over here it has given us some error, the operation failed. Okay, So why this error, how to resolve this error, we will see now. This is the first time we have tried to upload our ISO in our data store, that means in our content library, but it is giving us some error, status code error. Okay, so why this error we will see. So this error stands like this. The note down the file upload error. The operation failed for an undetermined reason. Typically this problem occurs due to certificates that the browser does not trust. If you are using a self-sign or custom certificates, open URL below and new browser and everything and all, right? So now we need to resolve this particular error. Okay, so let's move on to the next step. So next step is log out from the vCenterServer's web console. So we will log out. We'll come back here. This is our vCenterServer, right? 1.25. So I'm just logging out. Okay, close this. Let's come back. So next is open a vCenterServer's web console without appending the port number. That is only your vCenterServer.esxlab.local or only your IP. So I'll come back here. I will open a fresh console and here I will type https:// 192.168.1.25. Okay, that's it. Don't append with the 443 port. I will say enter. Okay, let's move on to the next step. So next step is from the vCenterServer's basic web console, click on download trusted root certificates. So you can see over here there is an option called download trusted root certificate. So I will click on this and it will download one certificate zip file. Okay, so let's move on. Next is we need to go to that download folder and extract the win folder out of the downloaded certificates zip file. So what I'm doing over here is I will open Explorer. I will go to the downloads and you can see the download.zip file is there. I will say, first of all, I will say extract all. Let it extract. Okay, and there is a download folder, certs, and there is a win folder over here, right? So we'll note down this win folder and let's go back to our PPT for the next step. So next step is close your Firefox web browser, which we are currently using, and open a fresh browser session again. So what I'm doing is coming back here, minimize this, now close this and reopen a fresh session. Don't open anything, just fresh session. So next is through Firefox web browser's settings menu, click on privacy and security, certificates, and view certificates and import. So I will go back here. This is my web browser, Firefox web browser of DC. Then I will go to the settings, this three dots, and I will go to the settings. Okay, in the settings I will go to the privacy and security and I will scroll down until I can see the certificates option. So see over here the certificates option are there. Okay, so settings, privacy and security, certificates, and then view certificates. So there is an option called view certificates over here. I will click on that and finally I need to click on import. Okay, so view certificates, and I'll click on import. Okay, now in the import we need to give this path certificates that we have just extracted vim, and we need to select this one. Okay, so let's go back to our ppt. So select previously downloaded and extracted vim folder and .cert certificate file and click open. Now what we are exactly doing over here, we are importing our certificates in our web browser, that is our Firefox web browser, so that this trusted certificate is getting added into your privacy and security of your web browser, and it will trust that certificate to make enable other functionalities like uploading the files and other things, right? Because everything what we are doing, we are managing our vCenterServer also through our web browser. Okay, so try to understand what we are exactly doing over here. So I will double click on this certificate. Okay, after that there is one more step. So we need to select both trust options and click OK twice. Okay, so you can see over here these two options are trust this CA to identify websites, trust this CA to identify email users. I will select both one. I will say OK, and one more time OK. So now this is imported. Okay, this certificate, trusted certificate, has been imported. Which trusted certificate? Our vCenterServers site trusted certificate. Okay, so next click means again we have to close the Firefox web browser and open a fresh browser session again. So we'll go back here, we'll close this, close everything, and I will reopen this session one more time. So next is again we need to log in to our vCenter web login page, and then we need to log in with our administrator at vSphere.local account, and then we need to click on launch vSphere client, and we need to open that menu. So I will go back here, displays, and I will click on this VMware vSphere and launch vSphere client. Again it will ask for the password, so I will put in administrator. Okay, so we have logged in with our administrator account, and now we need to repeat those steps 156 to 158 to upload Windows 11 Enterprise x64 OS ISO on ESX Host Data-store or through ESX Host common Data-store. So what I'm doing is coming back here. This is ESX Host, this is Datacenter. Okay, and it is our VMFS DS is our common Data-store, if you remember. So we are gone to the files. So if you are again remembering this particular path, what I'm doing is I'm going to the summary over here, then host. Under the host there are options to click on the host. Once you click on that host, it will give you the option for Data-store. Okay, under Data-store I'm just clicking on Data-store. Okay, and here I will click on files. Okay, now here we need to go to upload files, and now we will try to, last time it has given us an error, now we will try to upload the ISO one more time. So I will double click on it, and you can see the process has started. Okay, It is showing 0%, but it will start. See now 1%. Okay, so now our this ISO is getting uploaded to our data store or to our content library. Okay, so by the time it is completing, let's move on to our next step. So we need to monitor this ISO file upload process for some time, so it will take some time. So once this is completed, I will come back to you. Okay, now you can see over here it is about to complete 99%, and now this is completed. Okay, so our file upload is successful. Now if I am maximizing this and I'm clicking on this VMFS data store, you can see the contents over here. What are the contents? So we are holding out our one virtual machine also over here, that is our vCenterServer virtual machine, and then our ISO. Okay, so our data center is now configured for our content library also. So this way you can upload the files, you can upload your virtual machines also. At times you can import those ones and create the content library for your ESX host and ESX infra. Okay, so now this completes this part. In the next part we will see, now since we have uploaded our ISO, Windows 11 operating system ISO, next part we will see how to install our virtual machine, first virtual machine in our ESX infra through our vCenterServer. That will be a nested virtual machine only, but through ESX host, how to create a new virtual machine of Windows 11 operating system. Okay, till then, goodbye.